Yes, family, blessed love, life giver and the keeper of life, King Selassie, I, Jah, Rastafari, royal gods and goddesses, we give thanks for the upcoming Sabbath day. Of course, you know, the day of rest and tranquility and full blessed love when it arrives. We give thanks for the strong that has sealed up in much strength and more strength to come. And give thanks for all the angels that are here with us. I want to continue the reasoning as it relates to our signs, our heavenly signs, our astronomical signs, not your zodiac sign or your horoscope sign. The horrible scope, the scope is a real horror sometimes, you know. But the reality is the astronomy, the whole aspect of the ancient African astronomy is something that is a reality, family. We are connected to the heavens. We are connected to the cosmos. So that's why you hear some people would say, hey, that we are stardust because we are one with the elements. We are one with planet Earth. We are made up of earth dust too, and the water and the minerals of planet Terra. But in the same way, we're made up of all things. We are the universe within us. So this is why, you know, there is this connection with us and with everything as it relates to everything else, specifically the movements of the heavens. We are well fascinated with the movements of the stars, you know, how they move across the heavens every evening, and yet still we learn that they don't really move, at least not in that way. It's because of the rotation of the planet Earth. And then we are fascinated with the planets themselves, Mars and Jupiter and Saturn. And we're just taken in at their glory, you know, the sun and the moon and how they operate. For an individual not to, you know, study these things or at least have some interest in them, that doesn't seem human to me at all, you know. So we all have some sort of, you know, love and connection with the movements of the heavens. So family, this is what we will be going into this Sunday in the Tigers Temple. Some of you may be just hearing about the Tigers Temple for the first time. Well, it is a first time event. Yeah, specifically the Tigers Temple is the newest addition to our arsenal here at the Institute, the Priest Isaac's Institute of Holistic Knowledge. And it will be every Sunday. Hear me, my family. Every Sunday we will be gathering in the temple, the Tigers Temple. We gather at 8 p.m. sharp. That's Eastern Caribbean time. That's 8 p.m. sharp, Eastern Caribbean time, which it is the same time as the Eastern Standard Time, at least for now. And in the Tigers Temple, you know how we do it. You know the vibes we bring, but we just stepping it up. You know, so it's going to be like our online lectures, but it will be more than lectures. We're going to have lectures, not just by myself. We're going to have visitor lecturers from time to time. We're going to be having workshops. We're going to be having different interviews. Sometimes you may not even know what to expect when you come into the Tigers Temple. In fact, we'll be having debates as well, wholesome debates, not arguments now, wholesome debates on different subject areas. There will always be a question and answer, and the you know, the Sunday session is always interactive, so you can make up your mind to come and talk, not just come and type something in the comment section and you know, come and talk. You could show yourself too, you know, because you will be there with us, and that's the difference with the Tigers Temple. So our audience will be live. We'll be looking at our audience right in front of us, and our audience in the same way will interact with us, ask your questions, make your comments, and you never know, maybe if you are sharp enough, you may be one of our guest lecturers or speakers in a future Tigers Temple. But I'm telling you, family, the Tigers Temple already promises to be a very exciting gathering and an exciting affair, spiritual as well, intellectual, and great knowledge that we're bringing to you every Sunday. I think you should just make up your mind to be a part of this crew here. Like some of you make up your mind to be in the Tiger's Nest every evening on radio and Monday to Tuesday. Some of you make up your mind to be on the live stream or the premiere stream once a video is put up. You make up your mind to be the first to like. So in the same way, I would love you to make up your mind to be with us in the Tiger's Temple every Sunday. It's going to be a different vibes, different meditation, you know, but of course, good information, good spiritual upliftment, and, you know, different thoughts and different opinions too. If we're going to have different people coming and guests and debates, the fact you're having a debate, that means that there's some different ideas flying around here. Nothing wrong. That's how we grow. So the contribution, and that's what we refer to it as, the contribution for you to step into the temple is only $10. Just $10 to step into the temple, and it's a contribution. So if you think you need to make more, it's up to you. It's only $10. The only thing is that the contribution goes to $20 on the very day, which is the Sunday. So for example, so Sunday now, this Sunday coming up, which will be Friday the 30th, Sunday will be the 15th. So this Sunday will be the 15th. So if you get your tickets the 13th, or even the evening of the 14th, it's okay, even the evening of the 14th, but from it hit midnight, as they say, we're working with that time, you know, because of how the structure is set. As we said, the Tiger's Temple is Sunday evening, the 15th, but in reality, by the sunset, that day would be done, you understand? But we're working with from midnight to midnight. So at midnight, you know, we'll officially begin the 15th, according to that reckoning of time. And from the 15th, the day itself of the nest, the temple, the very day, that is when your contribution is $20. But prior to that, man, it's $10, you know, just to come into the nest, the temple, yeah, only $10. Or, yes, and also, you know, that almost slipped me. You could also get a monthly pass, and that is only $25 for the monthly pass into the Tiger's Temple. So family, listen, we just got to carry this thing to the next level. This is what it's all about. We're not stagnant at all. You can't expect the same thing from us every day. We have to definitely, you know, add to it and improvise it and you know, yeah, make sure that it's something that we can continually grow with it. That is what's happening here. You know what a temple is, eh? A temple is a place of not just worshiping, but when you see the martial artists go to practice, it's a temple they're in. You know? A temple is a very, very, very deep concept. So please don't take this for any joke when I say welcome into the Tiger's Temple. Now, this Sunday, we will be going into astrology versus astronomy. And we will be specifically speaking on how to read and know your signs. And I specifically mean signs. So I'm telling you, family, it's going to be a very in-depth sit down. We definitely will begin on the academic level before we start to speak of signs and what sign you were born under and which planet was in retrograde when you were born and all of that. Before we even go there, we are going to have to take the time to get into the academics so that you, the family, would have a good understanding of exactly how the heavens work, exactly how the movement of the astronomical clock, you know, operates and why it is so important. You will also need to know the difference between the clock today and the clock, let's just say 300 years ago. There's a difference, it's a few seconds off, let's put it that way. There's a difference of a few seconds, and a few seconds mean a lot, much less or much more a few minutes. The clock is not the same today as it was 800 years ago. Impossible. So that means, listen to me good, that means a lot of you who are aligning yourselves with certain constellations, specifically the zodiac belt constellations, you are a bit off because the sun moves 1 degree every 72 years. Remember, the sun has a 30-degree movement from one age to the other age, which is its governing power from one constellation to the other constellation, according to the vernal equinox. Now, if all of that sounds a little bit jumbled up to you, it's okay. Because when you come into the temple on Sunday, we will take full time. And you'll be right there, you know. You'll be right there. So we'll be able to say, everyone understand before we move on. If you don't understand, let me hear what the problem is. You comprehend it's the temple you're coming into. You know, martial arts, meditation, and intellectual, you know, vibration coming out. So 1 degree every 72 years. Because remember, the sun has a 2,160 year span as it relates from one age to the other age. So from the Pisces age to the Aquarius age, we're talking about 2,160 years. You follow that? Very good. And that means with the 12 zodiac belt constellations, or the 12 ecliptic belt constellations, we are talking about, you know, 30 times 12, 30 degrees times 12 to give you that 360. So in reality now, the vibration is that if you look at 30 degrees times 12, the 360. Now, the vibration is 1 degree every 72 years will give you the 30 degrees in 2,160 years. Very simple. The sun is moving 1 degree from one governmental authority as it relates to an age to the next age governing it in its authority. So from the Pisces age to the Aquarius age, that's 2,160 years. That's a movement of 30 degrees. All right, from one age to the other age. So in that 30-degree movement, the sun moves 1 degree every 72 years. So this is why when you take the 72 and you multiply that by 30, you get the 2,160 years. 30 degrees, 2,160 years. And I was just showing you that the 30 degrees times the 12 will bring you to the 360-degree full cycle for that full procession of the equinoxes, as it is called. But listen, family, don't worry. We'll be going to the depths of that on Sunday with clear explanation of what this is all about. So what I want to do, and let me just say, remember, you can, if there's any problem whatsoever, you can contact us and let us know that, hey, I want to be in the temple this Sunday. So just make sure you reserve my spot. And if you catch us before Sunday itself, remember your contribution is only $10. And if it is on the Sunday itself, your contribution is only $20. It doesn't make a difference. It's definitely more than worth it. You understand? So you can also call us or WhatsApp us for more information. But you don't have to do none of that. You don't need no information. You could just make your payments using the CashApp. You can just make your payments using the PayPal, as simple as it is. Then you email us as well and let us know, hey, I already gave my contribution for my spot on Sunday. Looking forward. Where is the link? You get your link and you make sure you put that away in a safe place to make sure that you are with us in full force on Sunday. But now, one of the things that stands out with these constellations, because everybody know, everyone is saying that, well, they are of this constellation or they are of that constellation, but they're mostly speaking of the zodiac sign and what the horoscope says. So the horoscope would tell you that between the 21st of one month and the 21st of another month, this is the season of this specific zodiac belt constellation. So I think from the 21st or the 22nd, somewhere there, but I think it's from the 22nd of December to the 21st of January, you have the season of Capricorn. So ones are, consider that, well, between that time frame there is the timing of Capricorn. And if you were born in that season there, like myself, you're considered a Capricorn. You are of the sign of Capricorn. Now, who taught you that? How do you validate that? Do you know how they came to that conclusion? Or you're just going along with what they say? Because that's what we do, we go along with what people say. And mothers, they think we did enough people vexed with that. Totally overlooking or underlooking the main point that we were making, that we're just doing what our enemy says, and we don't even understand the feminine demon that they're praising on that day. They who created and give it to you, if you're real, you throw it away and find something new to carry your emotion and your love and your caring spirit for our mothers. Yeah, I'm very serious. I ain't backing off of that. I know someone's hardcore till they reach that point there. They say, oh yes, tell Greece bring the goddess Rhea, let me, keep up their foolishness today with them. You can say what you want, You can say what you want. It's just reality. So I'm just showing you now that the science here is not nothing that Greece or Rome invented. Somehow we met them talking about the planets. All these names that these planets have is Roman and Greek names, and a lot of the names of the stars, Arabic names and these things. But the understanding and the comprehension of the heavenly movements didn't begin with none of these nationalities. We're talking about the ancient African astronomy. So this is why they would tell you that the first astronomers were the Sumerians. The Sumerians didn't name these planets Jupiter and Saturn. They call them Kisha and Ansha and other names that we call them today now, Uranus and Pluto and Neptune. So even understanding the value of the planets, I want you to listen to me, good. Even comprehending the energy that the planets emit and how it affects us. That wasn't something that the Greeks and the Romans originated in their thoughts. Just like all the medical books, well, not all, but the medical books were stolen from ancient Kemet, the Ebers Papyrus, and these specific manuscripts that speaks of healing and natural herbs and these things, they were stolen and somewhat, I don't know if refined may not be the word, but they were stolen and conscried and given back to us as Western medicine. It's the same thing with theology. It's the same thing with philosophy. Even history is stolen and mixed up and given back to us and say, hey, eat this. So it's the same thing again with even our ancient astronomy. So when you hear ones say that, like Mars then being the planet of war, some say the god of war, but it's the Greeks them that made the planet a god, as they call it. But yet still they are correct with the fact that the planet does have a certain energy of war within it, and that's the truth. But they didn't figure that out by themselves. This is something that they learned at the feet of the ancient Egyptians, as they call them, the Kemetiu. They learned this in ancient Smaitawi, in ancient Kush, even in Sumeria again. Remember the ancient Sumerians at that time that were checking the heavens were Africans, so you have to keep that in mind. We're not talking about the Sumerians in 1000 BC or so. We're talking Sumer all 5000 BC. These were the ones that would have been checking out the heavens and understanding the movements of planets and everything. And of course, Ancient Suma is also a daughter of ancient Kemet, a granddaughter of ancient Kish and Kash and Kush. So this stuff is deep. So why I'm highlighting this is I'm somewhat prepping you for when we gather in the temple on Sunday. Of course, we may review this and revisit it, but the main thing is that you have a good idea from here on of the importance of the heavenly bodies, as they are called, and the reason that they, how they connect with us, and exactly the meditation that they carry. Now, according to this chart here, it is giving an idea of the planets and the sun and the moon, and how they connect with the human goody, and exactly what it relates to. So I'm just going to touch some of this for you. Now, this speaks of the sun, and it says the sun has to do with the sense of purpose. According to this, it rules the Leo constellation. And they use this term passwords, but this is really, expression, its value, its character, what it deals with, vitality, self-expression. And then it speaks of the moon, and the moon now, inner emotional nature. All right, and according to this, it rules over Cancer, and it deals with feelings, instinct, and memories. That's the moon. We're going to go through this in more detail on Sunday as well, but giving you an understanding of why, when the moon is in a specific constellation, why it has to do with you, or what the relation is with you. This is why when the sun is governing a certain part of the sky and in a certain zodiac constellation, how that relates to you. This is why, when Venus is here or Mercury is there, what relation is that to you, depending on what constellation it is in. All right, so Mercury has to do with perception and communication. It says that it rules over Gemini and Virgo, and has the values are thinking and rationalizing. Then Venus, love and resources, and Taurus and Libra, according to this, are the constellations that it rules over. And there's a reason why I say according to this, because you got to keep in mind, although the Greeks and the Romans may have taken what they've learned from ancient Africa, of course they would have added a few things to the pot, a sprinkle of this and a dash of that. So some of these things are sprinkles and dashes, but most of all, like the value, for example, love and resources, that is true. From ancient time, Venus represented that, and values and relationships, for sure. To say that it rules specifically over Taurus and Libra, in my study of ancient astronomy, I mean, I'm not saying I know it all, but that is not something I like specifically true. But in the astrological world, they speak about that a lot. And of course, they may know why and how they came to that conclusion. Fair enough. Mars, action and desire, and rules over Aries. Now, the reality of that one could be true, because Aries is considered a constellation of war as well. Aries being the ram. So in other words, that if the planet is somewhat connected to a specific constellation, how much more so is the energy when the planet is in the constellation? So if Venus, as they say, rules over Taurus and Libra, so when Venus is in any of these constellations, if this is true, you could imagine the energy that is put forward. Now, it could be, one could easily believe that Venus would be a constellation that is maybe more connected with Virgo because of obvious reasons. If you notice, even both of them would begin with the V, feminine, as well as Virgo is the woman, the same woman that was seen in the heavens and clothed with the sun and the moon, and the moon was under her feet. Interesting, although we see here the moon directly related to Cancer. Not denying that, remember Cancer itself is the constellation of Kepra, Although we call it Cancer the crab, is really Kepra, and also called the sheepfold at a specific time with the beehive, which is a cluster within it, deep stuff, and we'll see how much of that we can get to when we gather on Sunday. So Mars now, as it says here, keywords, initiation and self-assertion, you know. So that is really the mark of a warrior here, the initiation and knowing who you are and affirming yourself of your reason and your purpose on earth. And of course, that will bring forth action. So you see where we're going here. You can see now. I know this is not for everyone. Some people have this as pseudo stuff, or them is pseudo stuff. Yeah. But again, I'm not one of those who just pick up a book and read what I see and say, oh, this must be the truth. You got to keep in mind, you know, that I'm a serious critic of astrology. I think we all know that, serious critic. So obviously I would have had to done other research and gone deeper into ancient astronomy to see this connection here as being valid. You must keep in mind too that these planets, just as these planets are related to different Roman and Greek gods, them same Greek and Roman gods are directly connected to some ancient African deity and the Neter and so forth. For example, who is it that is Hermes now, or Tahuti? I think that's Mercury. I think Mercury is who they say is Tahuti, which is the same thought. You know, so you could also use that now, because Mercury here, as you could see, is perception and communication. And the ancient Tahuti, or thought, as he's called, Jahuti as well, he specifically is the god of wisdom, you know, the god of thought. That's where the term thought comes from. Oh, I thought, yeah, you thought. Thought, T-H-O-T-H, thought, and of course, how you spell thought? And the other thought there. Yeah, so in the same way now, when you understand the whole science of that communication, you see Tahuti, which is the ibis bird already with the bill, which represents the power of writing, but you still see Tahuti there writing on his thing there as a scribe on his scribe pad, basically, if you want to call it that. So when you understand the whole you know, connection with the Mercury, the Tahuti, perception, communication, thinking, rationalizing. So this is what I'm saying, family, that although we don't deal with Mercury, I don't mean the planet, the god Mercury. We don't deal with Mercury. We don't deal with no Venus and Mars. These are Greek gods, Rasta. These are Roman gods by name and in many ways by character. But they have been morphed out of or conceptualized out of the ancient African tradition, the ancient African astronomy and theology, because we always connected astronomy and theology. The heavens declare the glory of God, you know. So I'm coming to you in the language that you already know. What language we know? Venus and Mercury, Mars and Jupiter, that's the language you know. And Venus and Mercury and Mars and Jupiter and Saturn, these are gods and goddesses that have specific tendencies and specific nature and specific value and specific ability. And I'm showing you that even in the ancient world, they have these same gods and goddesses that these Roman gods and goddesses were taken from. That's all it is. That's just reality. Zeus is Jupiter, isn't he? Zeus and Jupiter specifically from that Roman term. But of course, in ancient Africa, it'd be linked to someone like